peoples and schmeeples. Today's crazy. I didn't even know if I wanted to do a video about this specifically because I feel like it's almost so depressing, it's horrifying. But then I realized, hey, there are some idiots getting cooked on the internet, so that's why we're here. So I did not watch this press briefing yet. This just came out 2 hours ago. However, Caroline Leavitt is about to talk about how literally the American people voted for something and the courts shut it down. I think it is incredibly obvious that the court system, the Congress, is directly, knowingly going against the will of the American people. And they're doing it on purpose because they hate Trump so much. So this is going to be a really dark, deep dive. And we're going to have to see what could actually be done about something like this. But before we actually do that and get into the cooking with Caroline, there were some other hilarious clips that I feel like are super important to see. So first, the French Prime Minister of France, known for being a retard, got humiliated. So we are going to be looking at his humiliation because it's going to make me feel better before we dive into the absolute disgrace that is the Congress of the United States of America right now.
Where is the thing where he actually got slapped by his wife? Because, like, I don't even really believe this. Just a little bit of history. He met his wife in high school. She
For full context, I don't know if he says this.
was a teacher and he was a student.
She wasn't just a teacher and he wasn't just a student. He was 15 and she was 39. Okay? Not just teacher student. 39, 15. Okay? All right? Dude, stop. Stop, bro. Stop. Also, she might be a dude.
We always have people like having discussions on Twitter. 17 and 19. Is that weird? What about 15 and 39?
Yikes, dude. Look at that. Holy shit. I cannot believe he married his father. Holy.
They do things differently over there in France, apparently.
Nah, dude, that's taking MILF Enjoyer to another level. Yes,
so
dude.
the jaw-dropping moment when French President Emmanuel Macron is slapped by his wife Bridget
awesome.
as the
I love this clip so much. Humiliate this man.
pair bickered.
Oh, look at that absolute buffoon getting schmlorgled like that.
Played it off? Yeah, he played it off. He's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
hey,
nice try, nice try,
If this is what they're doing in public,
yes.
bro, the inside of that airplane is
dude, she is destroying him.
Probably like a UFC. The couple then emerged from the aircraft and walked down the staircase with Macron extending his arm to his wife, and then does she take?
Oh! Macron's husband didn't even take his arm, bro. Oh,
damn.
She pegs him 100%. She pegs him.
Oh man, damn, bro.
Ooh.
Man,
Ooh.
that's bad.
Oh.
I wonder, like, if he's gonna make a comment on it at all. He did. Did he say? What did he say?
He addressed the allegations.
Emmanuel Macron says the video of his wife pushing him around is them joking around. Denies quarreling with Bridget Macron. Yeah.
Right.
Nah, bro. Then why didn't she want to hold your arm? You know, he's holding. You see him holding out his arm, and now he's got to hold the position.
Daddy gave Macron a spanking right there.
Because if he doesn't hold the position, then people are gonna.
Holy shit! Look at French people surrendering in real time.
Realize like, oh, he's moving his arm, but like, so he's in this weird situation, right? It's so awkward. Like, there's literally nothing. There's no.
This is worse than like the fumbling at bad handshake.
Right option. It's which wrong option are you gonna go?
Bro got freaking cooked. Now, for those of you that want extra context, and I don't want to get biblical on your ass, but I'm gonna have to. Macron over the last week said some things that really kind of pretty shittily upset the Jewish people. He upset the Jewish people in the last week. And to quote Genesis 12:3, I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And then he gets humiliated in public. Probably coincidence. Anyway, humiliating more politicians. I want to show you what's going on with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was recently on a podcast, and he absolutely humiliated the entire Democrat Party. Everyone's fucking furious at him. Now, the thing is, Bernie Sanders is like 100 years old. He has reached the era of he don't give no fucks. He's run out of fucks to give. He's fuckless, completely and utterly fuckless. So we are going to be making fun of him a little bit today. He was on a podcast, And before we get into like the actual news and how basically the Congress shut down what the American people voted for when they voted for Trump and they're literally going against the will of the people. I think this is the most anti-democratic shit in the world. But before we do that, Bernie has been too busy giving not enough fucks for the Democratic Party, and the oligarchy used to be the major enemy, but as it stands right now, it's the Democrats that are kind of fucked up.
Yeah, here we go.
I have to ask this. I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. We have a question we want to ask about what happened to you in 2016 with this Bernie Bros movement. Your followers are saying they have a racism problem, a misogyny problem. Do you think that's a super PAC thing behind that?
Now, this is a good question. For those of you that need some extra context, and I think this is important to note, Bernie was running in 2016. He was actually winning the primaries for the Democratic Party in 2016. He was beating Hillary. And they came up with this Bernie Bros thing, where essentially the Democratic establishment did not want this man there, so they started pushing this Bernie Bro thing that, he's just surrounded by a lot of misogynists.
That was the Democratic establishment. That was the
Democratic establishment pushed a hoax to fuck him. He admitted it. He said the quiet part out loud. Everyone's been waiting to hear that for years. Now, I'll be real here. I don't like Bernie Sanders. I know Asmongold and all these other guys really love Bernie Sanders. I don't like Bernie Sanders. I think he's a hypocrite, and I'm not a socialist. I think socialism is cringe and gay. So not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit there and make believe that I love the guy. However, I hate the Democratic establishment oligarch bitches. I hate those motherfuckers.
Finally, so old that you don't give a fuck.
That's it.
And you just say it.
All out of
fucking
fucks.
finally.
All out of
Yeah,
fucks.
that was just, they were sitting there. We had a lot of young people. We had people of color, and they create this kind of myth with the help of the corporate media and all that stuff.
Yep, they manipulated the media to run a hoax, to kick him out, to sucks to be Bernie.
You know, it's kind of interesting to that note.
Isn't it crazy how he's basically saying the same shit about fake news? He is saying the same exact fucking shit.
And you know why he didn't win? You know why he didn't win? He didn't win because he didn't have the balls that Trump did. When they ran fake news on Trump, Trump pushed back super hard. When they ran fake news on Bernie, he was just like, what can I do? There's nothing I can say about it. And he just kind of shriveled up in the side. He didn't have the balls to fight back. And Trump did. And that's why Trump is president of the United States. He won 2 or 3 elections, depending on who you ask.
Note is during this election, the podcast space, which the Democrats largely avoided, they feel had some influence in the election. And they started to label us the podcast bros and said that we were sexist and we were racist.
It's the same maneuver. It's the same strategy. They label everybody. Why do you think the media doesn't like me? Okay, that's because I like Trump.
And bigoted. It's almost like it's the exact same strategy to get you out of there.
Yeah, that's what the liberal elite China does.
Oh, he's admitting it. He's admitting it's the liberal playbook. I think this is one of the craziest, like, random lore drops of all time.
He's actually just saying it. Oh my God.
And, liberal Democrats talk about that all the time. And then you get to what we call identity politics.
Yeah.
That you're black, you're wonderful, you're tremendous, you're gay, you're the greatest human being on earth.
Yeah.
And rather than say, what do you stand for?
Exactly.
You're gay, that's fine, who cares?
Yeah.
But what do you...
See, you guys see why I used to like this guy a lot? This is why they had to shut him down.
Is every gay person brilliant and wonderful and great? No, of course not. Everybody's a human being.
We talk a lot about the Republicans being autocrats and oligarchs and taking over democracy, but from the Democrat perspective, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents. And they...
Bro, the Democrats were always the oligarchy. It's a hoax, a scam, a flim-flam, a bamboozle. It's always been an oligarchy, bro. It's always been the Democrats. That's why if you look at a map and you look at the places that have the most billionaires, those are the places that vote blue every time. Operation Let Them Speak. It's all working out. Everything comes up Nux these days. I don't know if you're aware. It's not easy. It's not easy to be Nuxanor, constantly winning. I try keeping up with the amount of victories that I have. Nah, that shit sucks, man. Shadow government out there. It's a democratic shadow government pushing random bullshit, identity politics crap to cuck the nation. And cuck the nation they do. They lie, they twist, they manipulate, they flim-flam. And I could give you a million examples of this. Literally a million examples. I think the best example is the fact that there was no liberal primaries for the last election. They just shoved Kamala there and kind of skipped the entire primaries for the entire Democratic Party because they wanted to get their fucking puppet in office. I think it's super obvious.
I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
Donate for
No argument here, yeah.
I mean, I wanted you to, like, 2016, I was like, this is going to happen. This guy's going to do it. And it felt like they, it felt like they stole it from me. And I'll be honest, it broke my heart when you supported him.
Fucking based, absolute.
Yeah, it did break his heart when he supported them because he was too much of a pussy to actually stand up and fight like Trump did. God damn.
Absolutely fucking based right to his face. He should have burned the whole thing to the ground.
Absolutely, he absolutely should have. He should have. But he didn't have the balls. He couldn't fight the oligarchy. In fact, he couldn't even blame the left for it.
Look, but you have, in the world that I live in, you got a choice.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people, including my wife, agree with you. But you're down to a choice. Is it going to be Hillary Clinton or is it going to be Donald Trump? Not a great choice.
But it was Donald Trump anyway, and all you did was keep the Democratic Party in their fucking bubble of bullshit and misery. So you failed miserably both ways. You absolute buffoon. You gigantic pussy. Holy.
End up being him anyway, so why don't we burn it down?
Exactly.
Honestly, I agree. Burn the motherfucker down, metaphorically.
Well, because it's easy to say burning it down means that children are not going to have, food to eat.
No, that doesn't mean anything. Trump won anyway. Burning it down is not going to do anything. Stop.
Schools will deteriorate. People will not.
Oh, he's making this shit up. Come on, dude. Stop pushing your shit. Come on, bro. Give us a second of honesty. Let's be real. I don't even blame you. You were a coward, and you're going up against a giant machine. Most people wouldn't do it. But it's because you were a coward. Sorry, bro.
Have health care.
I got it.
And I'm an elected official. I got to represent the people.
That's fair.
And I can't turn my back on.
But then
You could still represent the people and also tell the truth.
could we not
And
also?
you can see what he's saying. I disagree with it, right? But like, I can see what he's saying.
I disagree with it. I don't even see what he's saying. I think it's what he tells himself at night. I think it's how he falls asleep. Before he goes to sleep at night, and his wife says, "Man, I wish you burnt that motherfucker to the ground." And he's like, "Honey, listen, my constituents have the faith in me, and Donald Trump is out there giving cancer to children or whatever he does this week."
Could we not also say if ostensibly there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008, are they not also a threat to democracy? We often.
Oh, it's happening, bro. It's happening. Dude, how do we keep winning? How do we keep winning? Bro, this is after Bernie Sanders makes 47 videos yelling about how Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, all right? He's a threat to democracy, the oligarchy, the constitutional crisis. But meanwhile, he always thought that the Democrats were also a threat to democracy just as much, if not more.
Here.
Fair enough. That is.
Nah,
He caught himself. He caught himself.
nah, you said yes.
You said yes, dog. You caught yourself. Sorry,
They're
bro.
not also a threat to democracy. We often hear.
He said yes, and then he realizes, look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at his eyes, right? This is his reaction right after he says yes. He says yes, and then he's like, no.
Fair enough.
No,
that is.
Some
I'm
perspective you have, and it's allowed.
not going to argue with that point.
Wow.
You make a point that we consider.
Real questions. And this is the reason why people are watching podcasts more.
Yeah, because podcasts ask questions.
Than mainstream media. It's because these guys are asking, like, if you're gonna lose anyway, why not burn the motherfucker? Exactly, these are real questions, yes.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, this is an absolute fucking gem. I love it.
Yeah, I think this is incredible. I think even Bernie Sanders thinks that the Democratic Party is a constitutional crisis group of oligarchs that are manipulating and contorting media to their advantage. Now, again, I don't like Bernie Sanders personally. Yes, he is Jewish. Shut up, chat. It doesn't matter. I don't like every Jew automatically. It doesn't happen. All right, I love all people, okay? But just because they're Jewish, it doesn't mean they get like super preferential treatment if they're a retard, okay?
Using his
Anyway, let's actually look at the freaking mainstream media because we need to do some cooking with Caroline. There is something of a nightmare situation on our hands, and the fucking court came together and they're like, let's go against the American people.
Using his full and proper legal authority, President Trump imposed universal tariffs and reciprocal tariffs on Liberation Day to address the extraordinary threat to our national security and economy posed by large and persistent annual U.S. goods trade deficits.
And now you have to realize, it's important to note, you have to realize every single Democratic president ran promising to make reciprocal tariffs. Obama, Biden, everyone basically ran and essentially said that they want reciprocal tariffs too. I showed clips of this in the past. But now that it's Trump that did it, the entire court, including some Republicans, by the way, they got together and they went against the interests of the American people. And I think that's wild.
The United States has run a trade deficit of goods every year since 1975. In 2024, our trade deficit in goods exceeded $1 trillion.
Yeah, Bernie hates the tariffs because Trump did it. Exactly. Bernie said we need tariffs, and then Trump did tariffs, and he's like, it's the destruction of our economy and the Social Security.
Dollars. Everybody agrees this is unacceptable. President Trump is delivering on his promise to fix this problem, and he has taken a long overdue and much needed bold stance for American workers after decades of our manufacturing base being hollowed out.
True.
The president's rationale for imposing these powerful tariffs was legally sound and grounded in common sense. President Trump correctly believes that America cannot function safely long-term if we are unable to scale advanced domestic manufacturing capacity, have our own secure critical supply chains, and our defense industrial base is dependent on foreign adversaries. 3 judges of the U.S. Court of International Trade disagreed and brazenly abused their judicial power to usurp the authority of President Trump.
It's crazy that the system works that way. It's like it's a democracy, right? The entire country, all 7 swing states, the entire country, it's all red for Republican, majority vote. They all come together. They vote for President Donald Trump. He ran on tariffs. Beautiful word. Tariffs. We love that word so much. He invented it. Super large cock and beautiful word. So launches tariffs, and then the courts are like, nah.
To stop him from carrying out the mandate that the American people gave him. These judges failed to acknowledge that the President of the United States has core...
Yeah, I know the court just reinstated it just now. I know. But we got to get through the details. We got to go through the vibes, go through the lore.
Foreign affairs powers...
I think it's retarded altogether that this shit happens. Like the idea that you could just have random judges just go and undo presidential decrees, presidentially elected laws. Like, it's actually insane. It's like, how does a country like that function, bro? How does that even function? Why is she wearing a cross? Okay, so first of all, I think she has every right to wear a cross. If she was wearing a hijab, no one would complain. But because she wears a cross, some people complain, and that's bullshit. Secondly, she needs to wear a cross because every time CNN reporters ask a question, she picks up the cross and they immediately turn to ash.
An authority given to him by Congress to protect the United States economy and national security. Congress had created the National Emergency Act to provide the congressional framework to strike down improper IEEPA use. And any questions over whether President Trump improperly imposed these IEEPA tariffs were already adjudicated in Congress following Liberation Day.
Bro, it's crazy. We went through this. It was approved, man. Why does every day, people need to bitch about something else? It's insane. It's actually insane. And I'm not even kidding. Today, and I mean today, bro, not even exaggerating even a little bit. May 29th. May 29th. May 29th. Someone still tried to hit me with the Maryland man hoax. I cannot believe Donald Trump has gotten rid of the Maryland man. He's a Maryland father. Like, dude, it's crazy how bullshit this is. Thanks for the 5 subs, Phase.
Congress firmly rejected an effort led by Senator Rand Paul and Democrats to terminate the president's reciprocal tariffs. The courts should have no role here. There is a troubling and dangerous trend of unelected judges inserting themselves into the presidential decision-making process. America cannot function if President Trump, or any other president for that matter, has their sensitive diplomatic or trade negotiations railroaded by activist judges. President Trump is in the process of rebalancing America's trading agreements with the entire world, bringing tens of billions of dollars in tariff revenues to our country, and finally ending the United States of America from being ripped off.
All right, that
These
sounds
judges
good.
are threatening
Judge
to undermine
time.
the credibility of the United States on the world stage. The administration has already filed an emergency motion for a stay pending appeal and an immediate administrative stay to strike down this egregious decision. But ultimately, the Supreme Court must put an end to this for the sake of our Constitution and our country. With Congress returning next week, it's critical that Senate Republicans maintain the momentum and quickly pass the One Big Beautiful Bill. The One Big Beautiful Bill will truly make America safe and prosperous. The One Big Beautiful Bill includes the largest border security investment ever. That's why the law enforcement groups are lining up to encourage its swift passage. The National Fraternal Order of Police, the largest police union in the country, just endorsed key provisions of the bill. The FOP president announced their strong support, saying the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is more than legislation.
One big beautiful bill. It's so big, it's beautiful. That's what Melania said.
It is a promise kept to the public safety officers across the country and a bold step toward an economy that respects, rewards, and uplifts the people who keep it safe.
That would be nice.
And the National Border Patrol Council, which represents nearly 20,000 Border Patrol agents, hailed the legislation as well. The group's president said this legislation provides a once-in-a-generation investment in the border security of our great country and will make America safer. The One Big Beautiful Bill will guarantee we can permanently have the safest, strongest, and most secure immigration system in American history.
That sounds like a good thing.
I also want to take the opportunity to debunk some false claims that have been circulating in the press about this bill. The blatantly wrong claim that the One Big Beautiful Bill increases the deficit is based on the Congressional Budget Office and other scorekeepers who use shoddy assumptions and have historically been terrible at forecasting across Democrat and Republican administrations alike. For example, just before Congress enacted the original Trump tax cuts at the end of 2017, the same CBO projected that growth would average a mere 1.9%.
Bro, what the hell's yapping in there?
9% over the next 10 years. However, by 2019, actual growth had surged to 3.4% once the Trump tax cuts went into effect, exceeding the CBO forecast by nearly 2 full percentage points.
Holy moly!
The CBO's latest forecast makes the same anemic growth assumptions as they did in 2017, missing the impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill. The CBO assumes long-term GDP.
I'm going to be taking this moment to say that I really love the idea that the bill is called the One Big Beautiful Bill. Like, I want to take this moment to say that that's fucking awesome, okay? That's based as shit.
Growth of an anemic 1.8%, and that is absurd. The American economy is going to boom like never before after the One Big Beautiful
5 big booms, boom, boom.
Bill is passed. The largest middle-class tax cut in history.
Yeah, because it turns out Trump was always the president fighting for the tax cuts on the middle class. He got no tax on tips. He got no tax on overtime. He's fighting for the middle class. And you know what the Bernie Sanders of the world are saying? The oligarchy. I can't believe the oligarchy would do such a thing. I can't believe it's happening. What are we even doing here, man? What are we even doing here? How is it possible that so many people could be this retarded?
Massive deregulation.
This is like an actual verbal exterminatus happening on screen right now.
And the most aggressive domestic energy exploration ever will fuel small businesses, further boost private investment, increase workers' wages, and supercharge economic growth. The Council of Economic Advisors has factored in the effect.
I mean, to be real here, Trump's been great for the economy in his first term, in his second term so far. Like, listen, everyone makes fun, everyone yells and yabbers and jabbers. Economy-wise, no one does it like the Orange Man. This is a actual fact.
Of all these pro-growth policies and estimated in their own analysis that growth will average 3% in the long run after the One Big Beautiful Bill is passed, which is nearly double the ridiculous CBO projection. This higher growth would result in $4.1 trillion in additional revenue over the next 10 years.
That's
Between the common sense spending reforms contained in the One Big Beautiful Bill and the robust economic growth that will be generated as a result of it, there will be no increase to the deficit.
Damn.
The same analysis from the CEA shows just how this historic package will unleash prosperity and ignite a blue-collar boom across America.
And that is what America kind of needed. America was kind of cooked on the blue-collar department because it turns out the Democrats, the party of the rich, in my opinion, the party of the rich and the retards of the last couple of years, they have been sitting there in their ivory towers yelling orders below, worry about racism, worry about transgenderism while we make money, absolutely butt-fucking the middle class, because fuck those guys. Let's send all of our money. All of our money goes to Harvard. It goes to high-class schools that have Chinese students and shit like that. Let's send all our money there. Outsource all of the middle-class jobs, close all the car factories. They're demons. They're demons that did not operate because of the middle class. They are operating on some sort of insane, satanic fucking agenda, bro. And it becomes more and more obvious every single day. They will cuck any politician that they feel like they can't control. Even someone like Bernie Sanders, bro. See, I do think Bernie Sanders is the guy that's like legit, like he fights for what he believes in, even though I think he believes in retarded shit. But like, dog, it's crazy.
But if the radical Democrats get their way and the one big beautiful bill does not pass, Americans will face a whopping $4 trillion tax hike. This is unacceptable to President Trump. President Trump will not allow Democrats to massively raise Americans' taxes. Senate Republicans must get this bill passed.
All right, we'll see what
Failure
happens.
is not an option. The American people are counting on Republicans to deliver. In other news, despite all the doom casting from the media, Americans are growing more and more optimistic about the economy under this president.
Oh, damn.
Consumer confidence surged in May with the biggest monthly jump in 4 years, smashing expectations. According to the release from the Consumer Confidence Index, the increase in confidence was broad-based across all age groups, income groups, and political affiliations. Our country is clearly heading in the right direction under President Trump's bold leadership.
Now, the irony is, everyone knows this. Literally everyone knows this. Even the people on the left know it. They just don't want to admit it. That's my headcanon. That's my theory. I think Trump derangement syndrome's gotten so bad that anyone realistically knows, everyone knows this. They're just like, yeah, but he does it in like a fascist kind of way. So like, I don't like the idea that it's getting better. But like, it's done through like fascism. And I really hate that children can't cut their dicks off anymore. So that's kind of fucked, bro.
For the first time in history of Rasmussen polling, a majority of Americans believe the country is on the right track.
That's crazy. That's a massive W, and I believe that too. And I'll be honest, I think every country in Europe has the majority of people in every country in Europe looking at, looking at America and being like, damn, I wish they were us. That's why I wish we were them. That's why even Keir Starmer, like the Prime Minister of England, he went out here and he started going against immigration. It's like, no fucking shit now you're against immigration. Like, no duh.
It's unsurprising because the president is fulfilling the promises he made to the American people. Here in our new media seat today, we have the editor-in-chief of The Federalist, Molly Hemingway. The Federalist is led by Molly and Sean Davis and provides fearless journalism and coverage of politics and culture to millions of readers all over the world. Thank you for being here, Molly, and why don't you please kick us off?
All right.
Thank you.
In the first Trump administration, there was an effort to stymie the agenda of Trump through the Russia collusion hoax.
Oh my God, are we really doing the Russia thing? No, stop. Dude, this... You know what we really need? We need Trump to insult Putin so that the media could decide that Russia's the good guy. All right, I feel like that's the strat.
By many people in the media, including some people seated here, or the media outlets they represent, and other Democrats as well. The second Trump administration, to reference what you said at the beginning, seems to be subject to an effort to stymie the agenda using rogue lower court judges. You mentioned that the Supreme Court could and should do something to rein in these lower court judges. Also,
yeah, makes sense to me. Like, you have these random fucking hick judges in the middle of Milwaukee. All of a sudden, they get up from their fucking dildo chair and they're like, I decided that Trump is not allowed to do this. Yes, I know. I have all the power. I am a small district court judge appointed by Obunga. I definitely deserve this.
Congress could do something about it.
Look, I always say, a lot of people are like, yo, Trump every 4 years. Cry out Trump. Bring him back every 4 years. Now, I'll be real here. I don't think he should come back for a third term. Hot take, I think after he finishes this term, he should move up to an even higher position of power in the government. He should become a small district appointed judge in Milwaukee. Okay? It's not too late for Trump to truly ascend to God Emperor status as a district judge.
Terribly interested in it. It also seems there's not much of an actual coordinated effort from this White House to take and tackle this effort from judges, Democrats, and other people.
Like, and why are they even doing this? It's not like laws are being broken. Like, what is even the point of these people?
Using these judges to stymie the agenda. Is there an actual effort by this White House to tackle this issue in a comprehensive way? And if so, what is it?
There is an effort by this administration.
All right, fair question.
To tackle these rogue judges.
Yeah, so our strategy is kicking them in the balls. We're going to make it democratic. We're all going to take a vote on whether we should kick the judge in the balls. And if we actually do get a majority vote, we will be kicking him in the balls.
And the injunctions and the blockades that we have faced in our broken judicial system in every case. I mean, we have seen time and time again these lower district court judges ruling against this administration in the president's basic executive authority and powers.
True.
And this administration is fighting.
Trump goes to the bathroom. District appointed judge. Ah, that has to be in your pants, Mr. President.
Every single one of those battles in court, including already the block that came down from the tariff court, the IEPA court last night. And as on my way out here to the briefing room, I understand that there was another district court judge right here in Washington, D.C. who.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking. Let's go. They're popping up everywhere like flies. There's billions of them.
Ruled against the president's tariff power. And I will get to the heart of your question, and I'm glad that we are addressing this in the room today, because nationwide injunctions ordered against the first Trump administration, Trump 1.0, account for more than half of the injunctions issued in this country since 1963.
Bro, do you realize how insane that is? There were more injunctions against Trump than in the last 60 years. Bro.
And President Trump had more injunctions in one full month of office in February than Joe Biden had in 3 years.
Biden? Well, that's because Biden technically, he didn't do anything. Like, were you going to punish Biden? I mean, he was a fucking husk. Dog was a husk. He didn't do shit. What are we talking about?
And let me roll through some of these radical injunctions to paint the picture for the American people.
She has the receipts. She brought the receipts. She's cooking.
At
Cooking with Caroline.
home. These are not just talking points. These are real judges in the court of law who are trying to block the president's power and the policies that he was elected to enact. For example, a court ordered the Trump administration to return already deported terrorist aliens back to the United States. A court has ruled the Trump administration can't even temporarily pause our refugee programs. Courts prohibited the Trump administration from eliminating federal funding for child transgender surgery and mutilation, a practice that the American people overwhelmingly reject.
Yeah, everyone's on top of this one. Literally everyone's on the same page. Literally everyone agrees with this, unless you're a retard. Retards don't like this very much. Some retards are very upset about this whole thing, to be honest. It's a bad day to be a retard.
A court also held that the Trump administration could not ban people experiencing gender dysphoria or mental health issues from serving in the military. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Courts prohibited the removal.
I have a really hot take on this. I'm sure that everyone's going to disagree with me, so I'm going to say it absolutely. You see, the thing is, I believe in saying the hot takes that other people... See, the thing is about my hot takes, I think most people believe them, but they're too cowardly to say them. You don't want people with mental illnesses in the military. Like, not only is the military an incredibly stressful place, but you are putting the lives of other people in their hands. Okay? Look, people with gender dysphoria or transgender people or whatever, like, dog, and I'm not saying this to be harsh, but they have a suicide rate of like 41%. Like, why would you have these people in the military? Like, what are we talking about? It is absolutely insane. It's not a matter of rights. It's a matter of you don't want to completely destroy the soldiers in the military. I'm not trying to be controversial here. This is the common sense approach that no one actually wants to say.
Of transgender women from women's prisons, despite potential physical harm to real women in those prisons, biological women. A Northern District of California judge issued an absurd ruling that the president cannot fire people within the executive branch without Congress passing a bill, even though Congress has expressly authorized.
Dude, it's crazy that this is a thing. Like, because I don't know if you're aware of what actually happened in the past. There were people that were arrested for rape, okay? A man, all right, arrested for rape, who would go to court and be in court and say in court, you know what? I am a woman. And they would put this rapist in a woman's prison. And surprise, a ton of women in that women's prison got raped and impregnated by this rapist with a penis that's in a woman's prison. Like, this shit's insane, man.
The president.
I don't think your rights should not override the rights of literally anybody else.
Through the Office of Personnel Management to authorize reductions in force across agencies. A court also ordered the Trump administration
mandatory breast reduction surgeries for fat chicks. Okay, I didn't say that. Did someone else say? Did you hear something? I didn't say anything.
To rehire thousands of already fired employees in several cases. A federal judge blocked the Trump administration from defunding the Department of Education, another signature campaign promise that this president has the power to implement. Courts ordered the Trump administration could not eliminate funding for illegal DEI programs, hence the word.
They could do all these things. All these judges coming out of everywhere. All right, Trump, we got to stop you. We got to stop you here. Yeah, I heard that after you finished pissing at the urinal, you kind of waggled your schlong instead of wiping it with a tissue. We are stopping that right now. No more drying your penis through wiggling, only through Kleenex.
Illegal. These are illegal programs to begin with, and now the courts are trying to say this president can't.
He's right. DEI is racist. It is literally the antithesis of the country's policies. The country's policies are, you know, because of like civil rights and shit. You're not supposed to treat people differently based on the color of your skin. And then DEI shows up and it treats you differently based on the color of your skin.
Can't roll them back. And a district court judge prohibited the president from issuing any categorical funding
Nux, do you wipe your penis after you piss? Of course not. I'm a man. I waggle that shit.
freezes. And then another court ordered on
Shake and dry, baby. God's blow dryer.
On top of that, the administration makes $2 billion of payments in 36 hours. These are just a few of the ridiculous orders that we have seen from lower district court judges every day, and we hope that the Supreme Court will weigh in and rein them in.
But White House advisor Stephen Miller says it's
She fucking cooked. She asked like a question. Caroline answered with an N-word. She hit her with an N-word. It was a hard R, nuclear response. It was crazy.
judicial tyranny. Some people are calling it a judicial coup. You're saying you're responding to each and every one of these actions, efforts by these judges to delay or thwart the implementation of the agenda. But is there going to be anything more than that, or is it just going to let this operation continue, even though it could delay everything for years until the presidency is over?
The administration is operating under the directive given to from the president that we need to comply with the court's orders. He's made that very clear, but we're going to fight them in court, and we're going to win on the merits of these cases because we know
absolutely they're all going to win. Every single one of these is going to win. I think they're all done just to make as many stopping blocks on Trump's way as possible. Make him stumble as much as he can because they are terrified that he's actually going to fix the fucking country.
They're acting within the president's legal and executive authorities.
Chemical castration for judges starting today.
And thanks for being here. Gabe.
Thank you, Caroline. Question on tariffs, but first, actually, some foreign policy news, some breaking news. Some local Israeli media is reporting that Prime
Ceasefire.
Minister Netanyahu told hostage families that he's accepted a 60-day truce offer. So can you confirm, have Israel and Hamas agreed to a truce?
I can confirm that Special Envoy Witkoff and the president submitted a ceasefire proposal to Hamas that Israel backed and supported. Israel signed off on this proposal before it was sent to Hamas. I can also confirm that those discussions are continuing, and we hope that a ceasefire in Gaza will take place so we can return all of the hostages home, and that's been a priority from this administration from the beginning. I won't comment further as we are in the midst of this right now.
So to be clear, you don't know if Hamas has accepted it yet?
Not to my knowledge, but certainly if...
I think at this point it was accepted, by the way. I think it is actually confirmed, right? Or is that just the framework? Did they accept it yet? I think they did. Israel ceasefire. Anyway, whatever. That
becomes the case and this ceasefire goes into effect. You'll hear it directly from myself, the president, or Special Envoy Witkoff.
And on tariffs, Kevin Hassett earlier this morning, he brushed off a legal ruling and called it a hiccup. And he said that trade deal negotiations would continue.
Nope, seems like Hamas did not accept yet. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Who knows?
Why would other countries continue?
I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to me that that there's this genocide going on, right, guys? There's a genocide happening. I mean, that's what Hasan said on his stream the other day. I watched Hasan Piker, largest leftist political commentator, and he was talking about how there's a genocide. It's the first time in history that the people that are getting genocided do not want a ceasefire. Kind of weird, not gonna lie.
Any of these trade deal negotiations given the ruling?
Because other countries around the world have faith in the negotiator-in-chief, President Donald J. Trump. And they also probably see how ridiculous this ruling is, and they understand that the administration is going to win, and we intend to win. We already filed an emergency appeal. We expect to fight this battle all the way to the Supreme Court. These other countries should also know, and they do know, that the president reserves other tariff authorities, Section 232, for example, to ensure that America's interests are being restored.
Trump is something of an N-word. Hard R. Negotiator. God, I love that so much.
Around the world. But I can confirm that our ambassador for trade, Jameson Greer, already heard from countries around the world this morning who said they intend to continue with these negotiations. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline.
All right.
So many of the president's plans right now are being blocked by courts. If the courts
Well, they're trying to block them.
are going to be the ones who are shaping policy, does the president wish he would have just become a judge instead?
Bro, this dude stole my joke. Bro literally just stole my joke. At Trump's third term, instead of running a third term, he should just become a small district court judge instead.
I think the president would take this job over being a judge, and certainly the president is acting within his authority. He wishes.
That's a Nux viewer. I've made that joke before. Okay, that's a Nux viewer. I'm just saying. All right, I'll be real.
Judges would do the same.
But so the courts are basically telling you guys they think that the White House's policies, the president's policies, are in some way against the law. So why can't President Trump ask the Republicans that control the House and the Republicans that control the Senate just to make a new law?
Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it?
Well, these laws have already been granted to the president by the Constitution and by laws that have been previously passed. I'll give you another example. For instance, we've been blocked in court for the revocation of visas from individuals.
Dude, that is, again, such another bullshit court order. The court doesn't have the authority to do this. It's up to the United States government to give visas to people. Yes, they have the right to revoke visas on whoever they want. What is going on?
Who have the privilege of studying in the United States of America. Secretary of State Rubio has simply used his authority to revoke those visas, to revoke that privilege, and we've seen the courts try to block that. So if these judges want to be the Secretary of State or they want to be the president, they can run for office themselves. It should be the other way around. But all of the actions the president has taken rely on legal authorities that have already been granted to him by our nation's existing laws.
And on a different topic, there's some folks in President Biden's inner circle who are now in talks with Republicans in Congress to give interviews about how they may have handled President Biden's decline.
Oh, shit.
Is the president satisfied with aides only sitting for these transcribed interviews, or would...
Dude, I thought that question was going a whole other way. Is the president satisfied with having aides present in the room with him while they're transcribing?
He'd also like to see some kind of testimony from the former First Lady, Dr. Biden.
I would love that. I would love a testimony from Dr. Biden, Joe's wife, because she lied to the country. They lied to the country. There was, I think, one of the biggest political scandals in the history of the world is the fact that we don't know who ran the United States of America from 2020 to 2024. We don't know if they won legitimately, and we don't know who was running the country. That's crazy.
I think, frankly, the former First Lady should certainly speak up about what she saw in regards to her husband.
Absolutely.
And when she saw it and what she knew. Because I think anybody looking, again, at the videos and...
Jill Biden, did you notice a mass growing out of Joe's prostate when you pegged him at night? Jez, bro, thanks for the sub.
Photo evidence of Joe Biden with your own eyes and a little bit of common sense can see this was a clear cover-up. And Jill Biden was certainly complicit in that cover-up. There are documentation, video evidence.
Oh, the dude has stage 4, grade 5 fucking cancer that got to his bones. He had that shit for years. Like, can we stop making believe that this is happening?
Of her clearly shielding her husband away from the cameras. They were just on The View last week. She was saying everything is fine. She's still lying to the American people. She still thinks the American public are so stupid that they're going to believe her lies. And frankly, it's insulting, and she needs to answer for it. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline. President Trump was asked what he thought about Elon Musk's claim that the big, beautiful bill increases the budget deficit and undermines the work of DOGE. And the president didn't actually comment on those remarks. He just talked about the need to support the bill. So what does the president think about what Elon Musk said?
Well, the president is very
valid question.
Very proud of the one big beautiful bill, and he wants to see it pass. He wants the Senate to get to work on it and send it to his desk as quickly as possible. Of course, as you know, Elon Musk announced last night his departure as an official special government employee from the Trump administration. We thank him for his service. We thank him for getting DOGE off of the ground, and the efforts to cut waste, fraud, and abuse will continue.
By the way, a lot of people don't know this. People think that Elon was fired. Elon was not fired. Elon went into office basically saying, I'm only going to be doing this shit for like 4 months. I think Elon is a fucking hero for it. I'm not going to lie. I don't like that Elon cheated in video games or whatever the fuck, but I think he fucking did some crazy shit for the country. He gave hundreds of hours. Unbelievable amounts of vitriol and hatred was sent his way. They firebombed his fucking cars. They burned down his shit. and he went into office and he worked for free on an 130-day contract as a special employee. Thank you, Elon, for doing that. I think that he did it with the best intentions. I really do.
Doesn't have any comment about Musk saying it adds to the deficit and it undermines all his work?
The president commented on this. I commented on it. I told you that this bill saves $1.6 trillion according to the Council of Economic Advisors and the analyses that the president believes in. So he gave a comment. I gave a comment. Just because you don't like that comment doesn't mean it's not a comment.
She's fucking so sassy. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. Back on trade.
Wow, all right.
I know you said the White House is going to fight this ruling in court. Is the administration actively reviewing other avenues, other options?
Dude, she is in a bad mood today, and everyone is feeling it.
To carry out the president's trade policy.
The president's trade policy will continue. We will comply with the court orders, but yes, the president has other legal authorities where he can implement tariffs. However, it does not dispute the fact that the president was right to declare a national emergency when it came to fentanyl and when it came to our crippling deficits and the lack of critical supply chains here at home. That is the reasoning for the president's tariffs. And the court didn't dispute those facts, by the way.
Yep.
And there have been other courts that have reaffirmed the president's position. In fact, a ruling in federal court earlier this month shows that the administration is in the right, said we will win on appeal. A federal district judge in Florida ruled that IEEPA, in fact, does grant the president the authority to unilaterally impose tariffs. And 20 years ago, I will add, they are not a court, the New York Times editorial board responded to the January 2005 trade deficit of $58.3 billion by writing an editorial entitled Dangerous Deficits. And since then, our trade deficit has more than doubled. The U.S. trade deficit in January totaled a whopping $131.4 billion. So
every Democrat was on top of the ball. They all wanted, every single one of them wanted this shit to happen. And then Trump did it because they didn't have the balls. And you know what they did? They went crying to President Obunga to start telling his fucking judges to start shitting on the floor.
People on both sides of the aisle, pundits, lawyers, legal scholars, politicians have all agreed that it is a national emergency, our trade deficits and our lack of critical supply chains here at home. It's just President Trump was the first president to actually act on it.
Have the balls.
To restore that wealth and that
big orange swinging balls, swinging like the swing states that all voted for him, by the way.
Prosperity to the United States of America, and it's very unfortunate that the courts are now blocking his attempts to do that.
Has the administration then reached the point where you are actually asking your economic advisors to start reviewing other avenues to implement the president's trade policy, or do you want to just see this legal process take place for now?
Bro, stop! Stop! I don't understand why this has to happen. If the judges say some bullshit, why do you immediately have to shut down the country until you litigate that? You should be able to keep doing the thing that, standard course of action is, and then litigate it on the way. I don't understand why it shuts down the country.
We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Bro, she killed her. It's over. It's over. She murdered her. Blackmaster, thanks for the sub. Oh, Lord.
We are doing both. Josh.
Damn, she killed her. Holy freaking balls.
It says the president met with the Fed chair earlier today. I'm wondering if you can give us any readout of that meeting. The Fed also says that they discussed the economy. I imagine the president might have shared views on rates as well, but what can you share?
I can share with you that we saw, the president and I both saw the statement that the Fed put out after the meeting. That statement is correct. However, the president did say that he believes the Fed chair is making a mistake by not lowering interest rates, which is putting us at an economic disadvantage to China and other countries. And the president's been very vocal about that.
Yeah, the president's been pretty on top of the whole China. I love China very much. China loves me. I love them. They love me. We love each other. We are going to fuck up their economy. He's been pretty vocal about that. Dude, did you see that shit? He's like, no more students from China in our country. I love China, but no students from them are coming here. Oh God, fuck, man. That guy, that's a politician.
Both publicly, and now I can reveal privately as well.
Did he speak at all about his plans for that position, but whether he would seek to move Jay Powell out of that position or keep him in until his term ends?
No.
Okay. Ask very quickly on the tariff question. You mentioned Section 232 earlier. Are you suggesting that you might sort of speed up some of the existing 232 investigations? Or are you talking potentially using 232 as a replacement power if this ruling doesn't go your way? Of course, you hope it does.
I'm not suggesting that. I'm just simply stating the fact that the president has other legal authorities he can use to implement.
Yeah, he's the president of the United States. I feel like a lot of people don't realize this because they're living in fucking Cope world. But this is going to be controversial for a lot of people to hear. He won all 7 swing states. Majority vote. He's the fucking president of the United States, and he has the right to act as the president of the United States. No matter if you don't want him to, it's too bad. Your life is shit, and his is better, okay? Stop being obsessed with your tiny penis and try to, flex something else to make it sound like you're important. The not my president shit is stupid, and you're lame and gay.
Tariffs, and the administration is willing to use those. As you know, we already have applied Section 232 tariffs on specific industries.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course there's checks and balances. He's the president of the United States. He's not executing people. He's not going against any laws. These judges are deciding, whoa.
Trump says that he needed 1.5 to...
I need to sign the condom before you put it on, Mr. President.
2 weeks to determine whether or not he believed Vladimir Putin wanted peace. He has been...
Oh, the Putin shit's crazy. Putin shit's crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I'm curious to see if there were developments with that.
In office now.
Last time we heard about Putin, Trump was like, Putin went crazy. He's crazy. I don't know what happened to Vladimir.
For 4 months. What does he believe is going to happen in the next 1.5 to 2 weeks that would change his opinion?
Well, it is my understanding, and it is our hope, that Russia and Ukraine will engage in direct talks and negotiations next week in Istanbul. And we believe that meeting is going to take place, and that is a meeting the president encouraged and urged for these two sides to come together and negotiate directly. And the president has...
Yeah, I don't know. There was an assassination attempt on Putin, and he obviously survived. That shit changes you. I'm scared. I really hope that they could get to a peace treaty, because this is really like it's a really tragic war. It really is.
Been clear from the very beginning of this conflict that he wants to see this conflict solved on the negotiating table, not on the battlefield. And he's told that to both leaders, again, both publicly and privately. So hopefully next week it will move the ball forward.
Is the United States going to participate in those conversations?
We will let you know if the president plans to send a representative. I'm not tracking that at this time.
All right, we'll see. I don't really care as long as there's peace. But yeah, the only person actually pushing for peace right now really seems to be Trump. I'm not gonna lie, because Putin doesn't really seem to want peace, and to be honest, Zelensky doesn't really want peace. He wants to get nukes, he wants to be part of NATO, he wants to take back everything that was conquered by Russia, and that shit's not happening. Welcome to reality. Someone told me I had to watch this clip.
Hello. Put it in order for my breakfast. I would like a waffle with bacon and eggs.
No, I'm striking that order down.
Who are you?
I'm a municipal judge from Minnesota. I'm striking down your order.
No. What? Melania, the weirdest thing just happened. Could you make me some coffee?
Sure.
I'm sorry, but that is entirely unconstitutional.
Excuse me?
Again? Who are you?
Don't act like you don't know who I am. Bill Rover, Chatham County Magistrate Judge. You have no constitutional authority to do that.
That was literally my joke!
Judge of the 2003 Loudoun County Dog Show. Sir, step away from the toilet.
That's it. Secret Service! Get these guys out of here!
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I feel like they need me to do the Trump impression for these guys, I'm not gonna
lie. Kelly, in the back.
Thanks, Caroline.
Sure.
I wanted to just clarify once and for all the Qatari jet, the sale, or the gift, because the Qatari government is asking the U.S.
You have got to be shitting me. What is going on? Is it such a slow news day? Is it such an insane slow news day that you have to bring up a controversy from like 3 weeks ago? Dude, the media is humiliating. Bro, she needs to just activate the Amaterasu and light her on fire. She needs the fucking showering on her ass.
U.S. to clarify that the jet's pending transfer was initiated by the Trump administration. So is this something that the White House is going to do?
The amount of questions we've received, and we've been incredibly clear, and I have answered this, the president has answered this.
Yeah, it's infuriating to need to hear this again and again because the media needs to push their hoaxes and push their bullshit and their fear-mongering and their pandering and their shit.
The Department of Defense has answered this. This is a government-to-government...
Oh my God, is that Tectone?
Gift transfer from the Qataris to the Department of Defense to the United States Air Force. It is now in their hands, and for further details on where that stands, I would defer you to the Department of Defense and the United States Air Force. I have nothing more for you on that. Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah, I don't even know why she asked that question. It's so frustrating to hear that question every single time. Like, again, I want to make this clear. I don't like the idea that the Qatar gave them a jet. I don't. I don't like that. I'm sussy of Qatar. But like, holy fucking shit, move on with life. Like, what is going on? Did you know that when Trump went into office, the price of eggs were pretty expensive? Really?
Two questions, one on Big Beautiful Bill, one on immigration.
Sure.
Yesterday, Trump said, we will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. Wondering if you could, share any specifics on that. And on immigration, do you know how many illegal migrants have taken Trump's voucher program so far? And
all right, fair question.
Have deported themselves.
So for those of you that are unaware, Trump has a voucher program that illegal immigrants are basically allowed to say, hey, I'm here illegally, I'll leave, buy me a ticket, I'll get out of here. I'll GTFO, I fought and I don't want to foe.
I believe it's in the thousands of those who have chosen the easier route of self-deportation, and we certainly encourage all illegal aliens who are present within our homeland to take that option. It's a much more pleasant option than being deported, and we will deport you if you're here illegally. That's our intention. As for the first question, what the president was speaking about is how this is a great bill. However, it has come as a result of a hard negotiation. It's difficult to get things done on Capitol Hill, but thanks to President Trump, this bill is moving in the right direction, and thanks to House Republicans and the leadership over there as well, who did a great job mediating both sides of the caucus to move this bill to the Senate. And now the president, again, has told his friends on the Senate side and is already engaged in those conversations to get that bill back to his desk as soon as possible.
All right.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Has this administration been briefed about the incident that happened in Gaza on Tuesday during the rollout of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution of aid to Palestinians there? And should there be a ceasefire, will this administration continue to rely on this foundation?
It's painful listening to these people ask questions like this.
For the distribution of aid to civilians?
Are you referring, what incident are you referring?
Yeah. The incident that happened when the aid was given out. What incident?
Tuesday, when the aid was rolled out to Gaza for the first time in many months, and meals and food was given to hungry people, thanks to President Trump. Yes, we were briefed on that plan. The president was the...
I hate these people that that ask the questions like this. It's like actually insufferable. It's actually insufferable. The incident is giving food to hungry people. Like, why are you doing this game?
The reason that aid went into Gaza, and he got the Israelis to support that plan. And I would add that the previous administration rejected such a plan to ensure that these starving...
That is correct. Because no one actually wants to save people as much as Trump, it seems. It's pretty weird, right? He's the villain, he's the enemy, he's the bad guy. But he's out there fighting to stop every war. Pretty weird.
And devastated people in the Gaza Strip were given humanitarian aid and assistance. And it was the previous administration that tried to build this pier, if you all remember it. It was brought to my attention this morning, and I thought that's a good point. Why don't I bring that up? Because there's...
Bro, she had the receipts. That's crazy.
There's been so much criticism. In fact, it was on the front page of a...
I think that she needs to destroy this because there's so much fake news about that as well. I did so much research. I did all the research because I was making fun of Hasan Piker, the largest leftist political terrorist, streamer on Twitch. Yeah, no, it's crazy. They were basically giving food to hungry people, and because Hamas was stealing the food that was coming into the area. So what actually ended up happening was the Palestinians in Gaza ended up protesting against the Hamas terrorists that were running that shit, raided their warehouse, and stole food from the terrorists that the terrorists already stole from the people.
Newspaper this morning about the criticism for this president having a humanitarian heart and giving people badly needed...
What happened? When Biden was president, no one complained. Trump is president, everyone's freaking out and blaming Trump for all this shit. Like, why are we doing this?
food and supplies. Nobody wanted to talk about how the previous administration failed in that endeavor. They built this pier that cost $230 million. It lasted about 20 days, and more than 60 U.S. service members were injured, as a part of this floating aid pier that did nothing for the people of Gaza. The president is opening up his humanitarian heart to get aid into the region.
And also, something else that I think is worth noting, because this is something that never happened to Biden. You may not know who this is, but this was a hostage held by Hamas for 600 days, and he was just recently let out. And this is what he had to say.
Yes, it's him. He got me out. He got the
He's talking about Trump.
Hostages out. Before, we felt like nothing is happening, you know? And I remember for me, ever since he came into the road, they were very scared of him. Yeah, they wanted
Who?
The terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
Did you hear this? Do you hear what he's saying? I'm sorry, I don't know why the volume's so shit on Twitter. But he's saying that the terrorists were hoping Kamala would win because she's a pussy. They were scared of Trump, and they were praying Kamala would win. The terrorists were are we on the same page? The terrorists were hoping the Democrats were gonna win. All right, are we on the same page? All right. They'll never show this shit in the media.
Talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected.
The craziest compliment in the history of time. The terrorists are all scared of Trump. They wanted Kamala to win. That is the craziest glaze of all time.
But as soon as Donald Trump was elected, they understood that he wants to bring the hostages back home. Yeah. So immediately the way they treated me changed.
Do you hear what he's saying? Like, this is insane. This is actually insane. Because of Trump's aura, just by him getting elected alone, they treated the hostages better. Holy shit. Is that not insanity? Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, you can watch the rest of this on your own time. But I just had to show that because I thought that was insane. That just came out today.
While his team simultaneously negotiates a ceasefire and the return of all hostages, we are moving the ball forward in a positive direction for all people. The president wants to see peace for all people. Jasmine.
Thanks so much, Caroline. A notice investigation found that the Hallmark Maha Commission report that was released last week cites studies that appear to not exist. We know that because in part we reached out to some of the listed authors who said that they didn't write the studies cited. So I want to ask, does the White House have confidence that the information coming from HHS can be trusted?
Yes, we have complete confidence in Secretary Kennedy and his team at HHS. I understand there were some formatting issues with the Maha report that are being addressed, and the report will be updated, but it does not negate the substance of the report, which, as you know, is one of the most transformative health reports that has ever been released by the federal government, and is backed on good science that has never been recognized by the federal government.
And a quick follow-up, can you talk about what tools or research goes into production of these kinds of reports? For instance, is it AI that's used to put together these reports now?
I can't speak to that. I would defer you to the Department of Health and Human Services.
I feel like that's a really leading question, to be honest. Like, there's no way that she was going to get an answer to that. I think she's just trying to put into people's heads that, maybe the government is just using AI to do shit.
Is what I know is just what I told you. Lindsay.
Many small businesses that we've talked to since the tariffs have been in place have said what would really help them is a long-term plan so that they can catch up. In light of what's happened now, this trade war with the courts, how will that impact
a trade war with the courts? Like, it sounds retarded.
This 90-day window? Will you guys be adjusting that? And how can you help relieve some of these small businesses?
Well, I would say nobody understands the needs of business owners, and nobody has the backs of our small business community more than President Donald J. Trump. He believes, I've heard him talk about this with small business owners himself, that small businesses are truly the backbone of our American economy. And that's why the president is supporting the One Big Beautiful Bill. So for those who spoke to you asking for a long-term plan,
30% of shit gets thrown at the retards.
Big tax cuts are coming their way. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime for their workers, more money in their pockets. Their bottom lines will be larger. They can pay their people more. Wages are going to go up. Inflation will continue to come down. We've already seen energy prices plummeting as a result of this president's economic and energy agenda that he has been implementing across the federal government, reducing burdensome regulation. All of that is good news for small business owners across the country. That's why they strongly support the president, and that's the Trump economic plan that is underway. And again, you're emphasizing, I believe, the need to pass the one big beautiful bill, and the president wants to see that happen. Sure.
Will you still work within that 90-day window for these trade negotiations? Does that still stand?
Again, as far as we're concerned, our trade agenda is moving forward, and we've already heard from countries around the world today who will continue to negotiate in good faith with the United States so we can cut good trade deals on behalf of the American people, and we fully expect to win this case in court. Sure.
They're going to destroy this in court. There's no way this isn't going to happen. They're absolutely going to win in court. Thanks for this backflip.
Golden Dome, the president put out this number of $61 billion. How did he arrive at that? Is that
Trump makes plan. Judges, your plan is illegal. The media. Trump has no plan.
the number it will cost to protect Canada, and is it negotiable or...
This is hilarious. Okay, so context. Trump is building the Golden Dome based on technology that he's getting from Israel. They're building a missile defense system over America, the Golden Dome. All right, the Golden Dome. So Canada was like, "Holy shit, we would love to be part of your Golden Dome, Mr. America, sir. Can you please pay for our missile defense system, please, Mr. President?" And Donald Trump is like, "Absolutely. All you need to do is pay us $60 billion a year, or become the cherished 51st state."
Where did it come from?
I can certainly ask the president, and I can check in with our research team, and we'll get you the facts on that number. But the Golden Dome is certainly a significant investment in our nation's national security and homeland.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand. Like, I have people in my chats like, why do we need a missile defense system? It's because people might shoot missiles at you. Yep. You know all the terrorist organizations that chant death to America, death to Israel, right? Kill the Christians, kill the Jews, right? Those guys, those fucking guys over there that do that shit. It's for those guys, specifically. Just saying.
And security to protect Americans, all of you in this room, from future threats.
Any readout on, have the Canadians been talking in good faith about paying to be in it? I know they expressed some interest.
Well, the president...
Canadians
has certainly expressed to the Canadians how we are essentially subsidizing their national defense. He brought it up in his meeting with their new leader here, and as you know, we'll be traveling to Canada next month for the G7, so I expect that topic of discussion to come up on that trip as well.
All right,
sure.
all right.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. There was a May Day USA rally in Seattle that happened over the weekend that developed into some protests and riots. The Seattle Mayor Harrell said that it was a far-right rally held here to provoke a reaction.
I hate this mentality so much. It's so frustrating. It's like, you see this in England all the time, all right? You have a minority that commits a crime, okay? Like, let's say an illegal immigrant, all right? An illegal immigrant commits a crime in England. The media, because of right-wing protests and racism, this crime was committed. And it's like, wait a second, but it wasn't it? Yeah, no, obviously the minority committed the crime because of the racism that radicalized them to do it. And it's like, no, shit, that's not reality. You're living in the wrong world, bro. Stop pushing your shit for a second.
By promoting beliefs that are inherently opposed to our city's values, which he defined as LGBT values. I know the FBI is looking into this, but has the president reached out to the mayor at all, asked him to apologize for this? And is this something that the administration...
Wait, I don't understand. Are you not allowed to protest against LGBT? You're only allowed to protest for LGBT? Protest is freedom of speech. You can protest whatever the fuck you want. They've been protesting for terrorists in the United States for like the last year and a half. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about. They have Hamas protests in America. Those people get away with it. You can protest for literal terrorists, but you can't protest about other things? Like, what is even going on? That's retarded.
would consider an example of anti-Christian bias?
I'm not aware of that case. I know the FBI is looking into it, but I'm not aware of any phone calls the president may or may not have made to the mayor of that city.
There was a Christian rally in Seattle and leftist protesters got violent. I didn't even look into that. I have no idea that that's going on, but that's fucked up. That is. The left is the party of violence right now, and I think anyone that knows, anyone that's intellectually honest agrees with that. Trump is not a violent party. The right is not a violent party in America right now. Maybe it will be at some point when the pendulum swings the other way. But as it stands right now, the right is not a violent party. They're not. Who's firebombing Tesla dealerships? Like, come on, what are we even talking about?
And then on Doge, we know that Elon Musk is leaving. Do you have an updated leadership structure for who is leading the group? Is Russ Vought involved? And what is its new mission now, if any?
Well, the entire cabinet is involved, and I spoke to the president about it this morning, and the entire cabinet understands the need to cut government waste, fraud, and abuse. And each cabinet secretary at their respective agencies is committed to that. That's why they were working hand in hand with Elon Musk, and they'll continue to work with the respective Doge employees who have onboarded as political appointees at all of these agencies. So surely the mission of Doge will continue.
I think that's super cool. I think it's really cute. I think every government agency should have like one Doge agent overseeing it. I think it's super important.
And many Doge employees are now political appointees and employees of our government. And to the best of my knowledge, all of them intend to stay and continue this important work.
Is there a Doge leader taking the place of Mr. Musk?
I feel like it's a valid question.
Again, the Doge leaders are each and every member of the president's cabinet and the president himself, who is wholeheartedly committed to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from our
In other words, no, there's no Doge leader specifically. That's what she's kind of saying.
government.
Big balls for leader of Doge.
Cool.
Thank you, Caroline. There's conflicting reports out of the Middle East right now. Saudi television network Al Arabia is saying that Israel and Hamas have agreed to a 60-day ceasefire. Sources with Hamas are saying that has not been agreed to. If and when that does happen, will we expect to hear something from President Trump announcing that?
Of course you're going to hear about it. Why are you asking her this question? She said before she doesn't know if it was confirmed because Hamas didn't say anything yet. Why are you asking her? Over the last 10 minutes that she was talking to retards about Qatari jets, do you think she figured that shit out?
As I said earlier, yes, indeed. If there is an announcement to be made, it will come from the White House, the president, myself, or Special Envoy Witkoff.
Finally, Caroline, one big beautiful bill. The president says he's not happy with all aspects of it. What changes would he like to see be made, and can this bill be both big and beautiful?
It is a one big beautiful bill, as the name rings true. And the president, as I said, is currently working with his friends in the Senate who have some recommendations for the bill. Those negotiations and discussions are continuing, but the president's ultimate priority is to get this bill back to his desk for signature. And the president's priorities in this bill are non-negotiable in terms of the tax priorities he wants to see and the large tax cuts in the border investments that are currently in this bill. He is not going to allow them to go away for the American people.
All right.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about, has the president spoken to any of these foreign leaders about these agreements that have been reached, specifically the case of the United Kingdom that already has an agreement in place after this decision of the court in New York?
Has the president talked to foreign leaders about what?
About the court decision in New York.
Which court decision in New York?
The trade court.
Oh, the trade court decision. He did speak to the leader of Japan this morning, and he said that was a very good call and a good discussion. And
okay, but Trump says that about every single call. I'm not gonna lie. Has Trump ever finished a call with someone and been like, "Yeah, it was shit, didn't work"? I don't think so. I feel like every time Trump calls someone, that went great, that went wonderful, we're really seeing things eye to eye right now. That went fantastic, smooth sailing, everything's like every single, that was a big, beautiful call.
And as I said, the president's cabinet.
I was talking to them about the N-word, Nintendo.
Secretary Lutnick, Secretary Bessent, and Ambassador Jameson Greer have all been in touch with their counterparts in countries around the world to let them know the United States will still be at the negotiating table, and we still expect countries around the world to treat us fairly. Again, I will just close by saying that how ridiculous it is that we've been ripped off. Our middle class has been hollowed out. Our manufacturing base has left and gone overseas. Jobs have been offshored, and now
Bro, she is learning from Trump. She's repeating like her phrases also. That's crazy. I was on the phone. I said all of the words, all of them. We spoke. I used every word, every single one. It was wonderful.
No court did anything about that. No court did anything about hundreds of thousands of people being put out of work, about thousands of factories being closed down, about our deficits going to dangerous levels.
Yeah, it's because the media hates us and the Democrats hate us right now. And the Democrats they hate the country. They hate Trump more than they love America. And I feel like that's why they keep losing.
As the New York Times has said, but now a court is trying to stop a president from trying to correct those wrongs of the past. And this administration will continue to do that. It's a promise the president made to the American people, and it's a promise they elected him on. We will win this battle in court, and the president will implement his America First trade policies. Thank you, everyone.
Is the U.S. Steel situation tomorrow to speak?
I can tell you the president greatly looks forward to going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he will discuss this historic deal and discuss American jobs and American steel, and we hope to see you all there. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was good. That was good. In conclusion, they hate Trump more than they love you. They're not the good guys right now. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed. I did. This was another episode of Cooking with Caroline. Definitely subscribe. We hold the cards. They don't hold cards. We keep winning. The Democrats are cratting around. I used all the words. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.